Tony D and Little Joan is asleep on the couch, and this is a screenwriter's rant on Bar Fight about a couple who breaks up, but they each want their favorite bar. Smash like and subscribe. Thank you for smash liking and subscribing. Check out my books. Links in the description. Comedy Horror in South Jersey. It's what? It's the Pineys, books 1 through 9, available at Amazon.com. Don't forget, Kindle. Unlimited is free. All right. So this is the couple. They are breaking up. They were living together. And somebody asks, "Oh, you guys didn't get married?" And no, we're breaking up. And then they find I guess she moves out or he moves out. And then they go off with their friends. And of course, the first thing they want after that is a drink. And they both end up in the same bar. The bar they always like to go to. And then they fight over who gets the bar, right? Like, they don't want the other in their bar. And he claims it, she claims it. And this is a comedy, by the way. It looks fun. So the bar doesn't want to see them fight, so they decide to give them a bunch of tasks, and then the person who scores the most points completing the task wins and gets to stay in the bar, and the other one has to find a new bar. So they do drinking contest and everything you can think of in a war. Throwing darts blindfolded, trying to get numbers from people, doing, this little bikes. They had to ride around the bar. So this looks like a fun movie. And then, of course, he starts to remember the good times, and will they get back together? Will they stay apart? They meet all their friends. Here they do like a giant keg bowling thing. And they're having a good time. I think it's a great premise. It's a fun premise. I would totally see this. Written by Jim Mahoney, directed by Jim Mahoney. Doing all the heavy lifting there. Melissa Fumero, Luca Jones, Rachel Bloom, and Julian Gant. So, I think this is a great premise. It's from IFC Films, and it's the kind of comedy we need. And it's a bit hipster, because it centers around a bar, which has Jenga. It has, like, every trope. It has Jenga, it has cider, it has, little darts, and everything in a bar. They have this ridiculous keg bowling thing. And there's going to be all sorts of side characters that they knew in the bar. And this is her best friend, and his best friend is in it too. And, it's a fun premise. A fun premise. Yeah, this is his friend with the giant fro. So, the first act, they break up. And then they end up back at the bar. And then the end of the first act is, well, we're gonna fight over the bar, and then the bar says, well, no, we'll make the rules, and you guys, whoever wins, and they agree to that, and the second act is all the crazy things they make them do, right? And some point during the second act, I think it's the guy, he breaks and kind of is looking at the phone and remembering the good times, and then maybe she remembers them too, or maybe they just use that as a tactic to get at each other. But I think, ultimately it's going to be like a rom-com. Do they not get back together? If it's more of a comedy, they don't get back together. Like, they hate each other even more, which would be, in my view, funnier. They never get back together, and in fact destroy the bar. I don't think it's going that way. I think it's a little lighter than that. I think it's going towards the way in the third act they're losing, or one of them's losing, but the other realizes, no, you know what? I really do love you. Let's stay together, and maybe they both get thrown out of the bar. But they're together, and that's all that matters. So, I would say this. Do we have any more info on it? No, not really. It's just a Should have comedy movies. We need more comedy movies. I mean, it feels like it's not going big enough, but it feels like it'll be a harmless enough comedy. Not so. I mean, it's not very edgy, but it's not totally without a little bit of levity. You know. I mean, look. You know, a thirsty man isn't going to turn down a glass of water, even though it's just water, right? So, would I see this? Yeah, I don't know if I'd go to the theaters to see it because it looks more amusing than it does ha 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 funny. But you know, I would like to see it do at least moderately well. I don't know if it could sustain a theater run, quite frankly. But it's an IFC movie, so I assume it'll be on IFC and it'll probably be on streaming. I think, you know, it could go bigger, but maybe I'm short selling the thing. Maybe in execution it's much better. Not, you know, I mean there's a choice to make in this. In that, are you going to go super super funny and make it crazy, like over the top, super unrealistic but funny, or are you going to keep it grounded? This looks more grounded in that it could happen, and in the end they get back together and it's kind of funny, but it's not like Norm Macdonald and Dirty Work funny. I keep referencing that movie because I only just recently saw it not too long ago. Like if you had two big comedians in this, you know, I would think you would go much bigger. Like if you had, who's a female comic worth a damn these days? Jesus. The only one I could think of would be Amy Schumer. Like Amy Schumer should have done this movie, right? If she would, when she was kind of still funny. Like the perfect lineup would be Amy Schumer and Anthony Jeselnik. That's who I would cast, because they actually used to date and they broke up. They'd be perfect. They'd be super perfect. And then they could be super mean to each other, right? Like super mean. These guys aren't being super mean to each other. They're being like, okay, we broke up, but we're not gonna like really go at each other. So you know, I would watch it. But again, thirsty man here, thirsty for comedies, Hollywood, something good. You need something edgy. This probably isn't it. 80% chance it's not going to be all that edgy, but it might be mildly amusing. Might be worth just putting on to like get a couple of chuckles and not have to worry about being berated about politics for once. But I think, you know, if you had gotten, say, I don't know, like a Dave Chappelle to write it, oh my God, this would be like off the charts crazy. I think it'll be more like hipster funny than anything else. Feels kind of like in that wheelhouse. But, bar fight. It's a good premise. It's a solid premise. Solid premise, Jim. Jim, writer and director. So, the premise, the scripting and directing may take it over. May take it over the line to the point where I'd watch it and go, this is pretty good. I don't know any of these people in the movie, but it's pretty damn good. At least good enough to, you know, if it's paced well, I think, and it feels like it's going to be paced pretty decently, and it's not going to lag, it's going to be a tight 90, you're just going to breeze through it. Yes. This would be very watchable. I think at the very least this is going to be watchable. Up until the scene where they get back together, and then it'll just grind to a halt. But hopefully that's a short scene, and then it goes right into something else that's funny. I think what the movie is missing, at least from the trailer, is that one wacky character who's just like who's just nuts, right? I think I got a taste of it during the bowling scene, but I'm not sure. They didn't show much of her. But usually in one of these movies, there's a couple of characters that are just nuts, right? It's like if you ever saw Tom Hanks' Bachelor Party, there was a guy who was so into the Bachelor Party. We need girls and booze and fire trucks. Like that guy. I'm not seeing that guy. But still could be okay. So I give it a tepid yes. I think this could be all right. I'm hoping. Fingers crossed. Bar fight. Solid premise. I wish it well. And that's it for me, Tony D. Little Jones asleep on the couch. Check us out on Odysee, Bitchute, and Rumble for our more based takes. Joan gets very based in the other takes. You're missing out. You're missing out on the other two videos. Anyhow, the live stream will be tomorrow. Should be on time unless I get jammed up. So see you tomorrow for the live stream.